Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 17th meeting of the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees. My first order of business tonight is to call roll. Susan Ainsley.
Present.
Matt Gillespie.
Here.
Carolyn Greenwald.
Here.
Kathleen Yin.
Here.
And Ronnie Hardaway. So we have a full quorum tonight. Okay. The next order of business is a public comment period. I will open that. For anyone who is online, or there's no one in the room, so anyone online who would like to speak on a topic that is not in tonight's agenda. Kevin, how about you? Do you have anything?
Hi. Nope, I'm here to observe the planning board.
All right, thank you. Hearing none and seeing none, then I will move that we close the public comment period.
Second.
Susan seconds. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, good. Thank you. Now, there was a potential request for advice of counsel. Do we still need this, Carolyn?
I spoke with Natalie today. Do you want to discuss it privately? Yeah, we can just chat briefly.
So what we will do then is at this point in the meeting, we will pause the recording and the trustees will go into my office and seek advice of our counsel for a little bit. When we return, we will restart the meeting and proceed with our business for tonight. No, not for this.
No, it's not.
It's now 7:44 and the trustees have returned from their session of advice from counsel. No decisions were made in the meeting. It was just a discussion. So we will proceed with tonight's agenda. The next topic for tonight is to consider the muni bit contract. We're basically at this point, I guess, looking at the contract, but primarily the terms of service, the longer version that they sent to us today that everyone received. So I hope you've had a chance to at least read through it. I read through it and to me, it sounded pretty much like a Microsoft contract, but it's protecting them and asking us to protect the information that we put on our website. So any feedback on the terms of service?
Well, I would note that they can change these terms of service at any time by simply uploading them to their website. And by continuing to use their website, you agree to their new terms of service. So to the extent any changes are made, I think it would be hard to monitor and govern that they won't make additional changes.
And they're not required to notify us when they make the change.
Unless
They put the new date on that.
Yeah, it's just like in the website either. They're not required to email it to you. I do question if we can make modifications and the method for doing that, because I have concerns regarding a lot of the indemnity and disclaimers and limitations of liability that are in there, which I can speak to specifics on, but I mean, ultimately they disclaim any and all liability and our damages to them are exceedingly minimal if they were to do something that harms the village. So I think at least the limitation damage should be increased. There's absolutely no warranties from them, express or otherwise, that the product will even work. And there's no limitation on indemnification for gross negligence or willful misconduct by either party. So just some, big key points that I would call out in 9, 10, and 11.
Okay. It's significant.
Yeah.
Also, the fee schedule
That
can be
can change at any time.
updated from time to time.
Yeah.
I think that we can at least ask them to agree to the fee schedule for 1 year and an increase not to exceed something. I think we should push back a little on the contract.
It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to ask.
We could say there's a couple terms. I would also, this one, I don't think we'll get, but I would also see if they'd be willing to either put in an arbitration clause or also consider jurisdictional change, because the current jurisdiction is the federal courts of Missouri, which would be incredibly expensive for us to litigate. So I asked them if they would consider arbitration. I would think we just ask them to consider these things. I think Natalie should craft something that is like, ask us to consider something on the following points: fees,
Yes.
jurisdiction, indemnity, And what were the other ones that really struck you? Maybe 5 points that we'd
Yeah.
like to put.
Ability to use-
What they said.
Disclaimer in line.
And something that they guarantee that there's something about functionality.
Yeah, there's no guarantee of functionality.
Yeah, I think that should be. I think it'd be perfectly reasonable to point out some of these and see where we get.
Okay. Yeah, and if we missed something that, yeah, we covered that in such paragraph, and they will tell us. But if they did not, then how do they feel about making these modifications?
I think the price is pretty reasonable to negotiate. Like, you're telling us it's this price. And we need some guarantee that it's going to remain in this ballpark for at least, let's say, 4 years at a certain increase, not as updated from time to time.
You can also terminate pretty readily on like 1 month's notice, so there's that benefit if they do a large.
Right, but
increase,
the
you don't
benefit for
want
us
to.
of doing this is that we thought that this price.
It'd be a long term.
If we lay this out for 4 years, it's much cheaper than the other options, and then if that goes away. I think on the price in particular, they would be willing to put some kind of.
Guarantee.
Can we ask for them to give us, right, to inform us of price increases for our budgets so we can plan for budget cycle?
We can ask. I'm assuming the feedback will be every municipality has a different budget cycle, so if they do that for each customer, it would be unduly difficult for them to do. Just a thought,
Mhm.
but we can ask.
Yeah, it won't hurt to ask if we can get an advance notice of price increase, and that we want this relationship to be long-term. I'm just rephrasing what Carolyn has said. They want this relationship to be long-term. We were looking at the price, and the price is minimal for a long-term relationship, but if the price jumps dramatically, then we have to reassess. The other thing we need to consider at this point is how easily can we migrate the information off of their system and provide it for someone else?
One of the things I liked about his presentation, he seemed to say everything on there is yours.
Right.
It does say that.
And when I developed a website that had a link to another service that was on someone else's website, I just made a copy of it and stored it elsewhere. So I was thinking about that for this. If we can just have our own copy stored elsewhere as a backup.
I would recommend that, quite frankly, I'm thinking the village, obviously, I think we probably almost naturally have our own copies. Posts and alerts and things are small. If we lose those, I don't think those are significant. But if you're writing copy for a program, committee, or anything, I would draft it in Word and then come back and put that into their form, because sometimes it's hard, at least for me, to go through a form and remember everything I wanted to say, because I'm more concerned about, will it fit in the field? So I would recommend that anyway on our side. But I would still like to know, yeah, everything's going to be available on the internet, but how do we touch their system and say, send me all of the minutes that you capture within your system as PDF files external to your system? Would they do that? I said, no, well, you just go on the page and you scroll and you capture and you copy it yourself. That's something we don't want to do.
We should have access to backups.
Mhm.
Whenever they do backup, we should be able to access it if we need to.
Only if they give us access to their system, because the backup would be within their system.
Yeah,
And if we decide to move to someone else, they can say, well, we're locking our system from you, and you
they
can't
give
get
you
in.
90 days to get your stuff off.
Okay, so they
If
give us.
either party terminates the contract.
Okay, so we would have 90 days to get everything off, but the process might be hard.
Well, that person who was replacing, we might have to hire somebody local for that or something, but that person that we hired would do that for us.
Yeah, it's possible that.
We would have to hire somebody.
It is possible, yes. Hopefully it wouldn't be that bad, but anyway. Now, these are all good points. And Natalie, if you can put together a list and we can present that to them and say, these are our concerns with this terms of service, and we can't go forward with this until we get answers to our satisfaction.
Yeah.
You know how to write this.
Yes, I do.
I'm channeling Deborah.
There you go.
Okay, anything else about this contract or is this enough discussion for tonight?
No, as long as our computer people who use other systems are happy with it and Natalie nails down. I mean, to the extent that you can ever be
Yeah.
confident that a product is.
What did you feel about the system? It looked pretty straightforward.
Looked pretty easy, actually,
Yeah, it looked pretty easy.
compared to some of the other ones I've dealt with.
Yeah, we won't go down that path. Yeah, no, they almost all have similar appearances as far as letting you input your own data. The things we will have to consider in the design, do we want one or two people inserting all of the information, or do we want to have the chairs of committees to be able to open their page and update their information immediately rather than having to give it to another employee to do it for them? That's the type of thing we would have to decide. Because we would be giving user account names to those individuals who could, I guess, add, edit, or delete information from the website. And there are some responsibilities that they allude to within the terms of service that you need to be careful that we are not putting someone else's copyrighted material on our website without their permission. That's a rare thing and from my experience with our website. But there are things, but photos could be copyrighted too, and we need to find out that we have permission to use them. So anyway, that's part of the design, but we will get into that once we get past the contract and going forward with it. I have to remember, I don't recall that the original price quote, if it was a 30-day or a 90-day from them. How they would be good. Yeah, I'm not.
That's pretty.
Need to find out. So if we drag this out too long and we go past that 30 days, they could raise the price on us. Wouldn't be smart of them, but they could do it. All right. Okay. Anything else about Munibit? Okay. The next topic is the discussion about the Climate Smart Communities Skip the Stuff resolution that Kathleen sent to us. You saw my suggested revisions in the last paragraph. Nothing dramatic. I just thought that the wording was kind of awkward. And I just found a way to kind of truncate a little bit and make it more consistent grammatically.
So
Basically,
2 items tonight that I was going through it again, just commas.
sorry.
About?
Yeah, it wasn't substantive really. It was just more grammatical.
Yeah, yeah. Any other discussion?
Thoughts? Yeah.
And Kathleen, why don't you move the resolution?
Okay, move to approve resolution recommending the Village of Lansing, New York, participate in the Skip the Stuff campaign. I can read the whole thing, the whereas. As edited. Whereas the Village of Lansing, New York, herein referred to as the village, is committed to providing a sustainable future for the community and protecting the environment and community health and well-being. And whereas single-use consumable products provided by food service businesses for takeout and delivery, such as single-use plastic utensils, condiment packages, beverage straws, beverage stirrers, chopsticks, and other single-use items that customers don't want or need, are a source of litter and solid waste. And whereas production of unnecessary single-use products uses energy and natural resources, contributes to increased CO2 emissions and pollution, which adversely impact climate, Cuba Lake watershed, natural ecosystems, public health, and community well-being. Whereas many single-use products are frequently not recyclable or compostable within existing waste management systems, and micro and nanoplastic pollution poses documented risk to wildlife, water quality, and human health. Whereas unwanted and unused single-use waste increases the amount of waste going to landfills and incinerators and increases costs to taxpayers, municipal waste management facilities, and food service businesses. Whereas the village is a certified climate smart community, has established sustainability, climate and waste reduction goals in its update and in its in its updated comprehensive plan, and supports the reduction of unnecessary single-use consumable products. Now, therefore be it resolved. Oh, I'm sorry. This got edited. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Village of Lansing Board of Trustees support the Village of Lansing, New York's participation in the Zero Waste Ithaca Skip the Step campaign, promoting a by request only rather than a default distribution approach to reduce unnecessary distribution of single-use items by food establishments in the village, and increasing public awareness and recognizing participating businesses that display the Skip the Step stickers by providing a link to the campaign on the village website.
You've moved it. Did I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Susan. Any discussion about the resolution? All those in favor of the resolution, say aye. Okay. Our next topic is the emergency preparedness plan progress update. Kathleen, what is the status of our addendum for the county?
Thank you. So thank you for following up with the Bolton Point for memorandum of understanding or support. They currently really don't have one. They are operating on the old one. They have an update, but not signed.
It's still in
the works. Yeah.
Yes.
I did contact the town fire department. I haven't not heard back. You all got a copy of the template, and everyone has the copy of the roles and responsibilities. So I haven't had any feedback on the table, and am assuming that that is okay. I did ask John and Jody and Mike if those responsibilities were in line with what they actually have done in the past when there has been an incident, or anticipate in the future. And Mike, jump in if there's anything.
It all seemed logical to me, what you had written down on especially with the charts, nice to have that chart. And if you need help contacting the fire department, I've got a couple numbers I can get hold of if you'd like.
Okay. I was gonna just go by when they do the equipment, but that would be better. Thank you. So where we're at, I also was following up on that pandemic, the operations plan. So the references are in here. I went back and double checked that that template was still on the state site, and it is. So I included that in the index. We can make a copy of this. We made a copy of the old draft, and then I changed some of the risk reduction guidelines to make it more general. Just because you don't know if you've got an existing disease outbreak or if it's novel or, in mutated form. So it's general guidelines. And
Would the village be responsible for any type of pandemic episode?
If there's a declared public health emergency, either federally, state, or county, then you would, and the plan is implemented and there's an order, then you would have to follow those.
Very similar to the one we had for COVID.
Yeah. So when this was written, it was really after we knew what was going on, whereas when it first happens and if you don't know the source and how it's transmitted or spread, And whether it is human to human, animal to human, or environmental. So it could be any of those. So where are we at? I can give you this, the old one is scanned in. And then get your feedback on this.
Okay. And is that
It can just be.
is that our addendum for the county version?
I'm sorry.
Are these pages our addendum?
So the pandemic, so the continuity of operation, continuity government would be something that would be cited and integrated into it. So right now, as in the template, they have it in a table form for save responsibilities. For the incident command flow chart, they have that as part of the plan. So this would just be, the explanation would be integrated into it.
If they've already got it in the county side, why are we reproducing it in our side?
It would be nice to have our plans and procedures integrated so that they are all aligned.
But if we just point to the county's version, we would automatically be aligned, rather than trying to make sure that their changes were automatically reflected in ours. Shouldn't we just point to the counties as our part of it?
That's what we're doing.
But we're not reproducing the same wording within our addendum.
There is going to be an update for the continuity of operations, continuity government plan. Right now, we have at the village level is just COVID specific.
So we would just need to point to the new version when it comes out.
When it comes out, or we could adopt an update of that pandemic plan, which is what to cover any kind of communicable disease or emergency.
But I don't understand, we would be pushing the cart before the horse.
And we can
in
do
this
that.
case, but we have typically relied on the county to take the lead in these situations. And if they've already got wording on what will have to be done, why are we
They
reproducing?
don't yet.
So we are making something for them to use?
No, we are actually, if you look at your pandemic operation plan, it says it's to be reviewed annually and updated as needed.
Right. So we would be updating.
Be updating it
while waiting for a
aligned.
new version?
Yeah. So it would be aligned, basically it would be aligned with current 2025 Tompkins County plan.
What does the county do in their part about that? Do they point to the old version right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't say,
They just say in development.
we could do the same
Mhm.
and not worry about creating an old version that's going to be outdated before it's released.
I agree.
Well, some of this is needed to populate those gray boxes that you use for village-specific information.
Yeah, and we just can say it's underdeveloped and will be it would be a reference to once the county completes their update.
That seems to me the simplest.
Yeah.
There's no reason to
Duplicate.
I don't think I'm being
Duplicate.
clear. If you look at the template, and if we want it to be part of the annex that the county has to submit before the end of the year, and then we would want to include some of this information.
But according to the county, when they first introduced this document, my first question was, do we have the ability to make the addendum our own, and it can go wherever we want? Can we make our own changes? And they said, you can do whatever your village wants in that document. So we don't have to check every box and fill every box in the addendum to make it an applicable part of their document. What the state wants from the county is the county document be completed by the end of the year. The county told me that our part can be completed anytime after that, but they have to do it before the end of the year.
It can be, but like the hazard mitigation plan that all municipalities participated in, and hopefully all municipalities are participating in this, then if you want to be part of that annex, then you do need to complete the boxes in that.
I think that you should go back and check with them about that and get a confirmation email from them that we have to do that. Because
We don't-
specifically asked
we don't
that
have
question and they
to.
said no.
We don't have to, but if we want to be part of that document, then we do need to submit before the end
That
of
is
the year.
totally opposite from what they told me. So I need you to contact them
I can kind
and
of,
get an email from them saying that we have to complete every section in that document, that addendum.
I don't think that you are saying, I don't think you guys are opposite. I think you're just saying different things. I think you're saying we can do something. It doesn't have to be that. And Kathleen's saying we can do that and have it be an addendum, but your something can also be the addendum. So the question is, if we want to be part of and I wouldn't want to be the only municipality not.
We won't be.
Right. So then we can do our own thing or we can fill in their boxes.
Yeah.
Those are both options.
Yeah.
They're not mutually
But
exclusive.
one is 47 pages long.
So I think I liked your previous idea, which was like, let's use their boxes, but only the relevant boxes.
Yes. And this is a box we're filling with old data that is out of date because the county is already looking to make a new version of this. Why would we put old data in to have to go back in later and replace it with new when all we really have to do is say, we will follow the county's plan when they release it? That's a much better way.
Something to include. I think I'd like to see something go in
Oh,
that's as close to accurate as possible, so we don't have to redo it.
yes.
But we shouldn't do what you're saying, which is irrelevant data.
No.
So sure.
this is actually taking from the Tompkins County current plan that is being submitted.
So why are we
But I-
reproducing it in our addendum?
It's much shorter.
So then it's not,
That the village has it. It is. So the incident command structure is exactly the same as what's in the county template. It's just simplifying it for the staff and for the village so that you can look at it and say, okay, these are the 3 support functions. Okay, these are the 4 essential functions. Okay, these are the essential personnel that fall under operations planning, logistics, and finance administration. It is exactly the same command structure and bear in mind that this is something that is implemented when you have a level 3, an order, a declaration order, which the mayor can actually has the authority
I have the authority to request one,
to have.
but not to implement a type 3. I can implement a type 1. Anything above type 1, I have to communicate with the doer and they take care of anything that crosses our municipal boundary.
Yeah, there is, everything does go through the county. Overall, the county has overall. But the whole reason for having the individual municipal plans are sometimes there will be an incident that requires the village to act until you're still in constant communication.
Right.
But-
But that was our emergency management, our emergency preparedness plan that I created for our village and we all agreed to. That's the one we would implement. We would not go into their addendum and scroll through 47 pages of information to figure out who does what when.
Oh, no, I know, you would not.
Then why are we creating this?
These are the components that would go into it, that's simplified, that's also part of the emergency
I
management.
understand the components. I don't understand the value to the village because beyond a type one, there's nothing that we do. All we do is communicate with the county and say, you are going to coordinate this. Let us know our role. That's all we do.
I think we're kind of saying the same thing because the emergency preparedness plan is a component of that annex. And the continuity of operations, continuity of government is a component of that annex.
I don't see it. I don't understand why we're basically filling boxes within an addendum to fill the box within the addendum. It's not anything that we can implement in an emergency situation. Are we going to have to all memorize 47 pages of
No.
data to know, then why does it exist? This is what I want to know from the county. Why does this document exist if we cannot use it in a practical manner? It's a waste of staff time. You people, all of you would be responsible for memorizing that addendum and following that addendum. Exactly.
I don't know if this makes sense, but there's the county plan. There are the municipal annexes. Those annexes have appendixes, which are your itemized protocols, which the village should have. You know, there's a hand hygiene protocol. There's a respiratory cough protocol, you know, that you can have as an infographic that are supposed to be posted. There is, you know, there are all of these protocols that the local municipalities should have. And so
Why?
they have,
Why?
I think Barney's, but can't we just say that we're following the county's protocols? That whatever protocols the county has, we're following those?
so in the annexes appendix, you can just list the plans, just like you list your partners and you list your agreements.
Okay, so could we
And-
list that we're referencing to the county plan instead of an individual village of Lansing?
Yeah, you don't type out everything in there, but the whole point of this is to be included in the annex the same way the hazard mitigation, which is very long. That's 60-something pages.
I need to get feedback from the trustees. Do you want us to fill out a 47-page addendum with our own little special appendix so that we can complete our portion of the county's document that they've already told me we don't necessarily have to do? If you all want to do that,
Doesn't make sense to me.
it does not make
Any
sense.
sense to me whatsoever.
It doesn't make sense.
Tiny little speck.
We have 5 people in this room and our staff, which doubles the amount of hands and people that are working. We don't have time to go through a 47-page document, memorize it, learn it, and follow it. And if we don't follow it, we're in big trouble.
No, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Why was?
There's a liability.
There's no clear indication as to the value of our addendum when all we have to do in our case is respond to a type 1 emergency, which we can do now. But for type 2 and type 3, we don't do anything except go to the county. That's all we do. And then we wait for their instructions on how we support them for our portion of that emergency. That's all we should say.
What you've already created, Ronnie, though, the document you already created, could that be our addendum?
I understood that it could be.
So why don't we just do something where Kathleen works from that, thinks about items that are essential, and we submit our own 6 to 10 page based on what you've already had. But then we'll be included, which I do like the idea of being included.
I agree. They want to know that we've thought about this. We've thought about this and discussed it and created our own plan. We know what we are going to do.
So we have that document. There's other things that I think Kathleen will see of value, and let's modify it to add those.
But it's the other things of value
Yeah.
that I question.
So
Why is it of value? Because it fills the box?
no, I don't want to
Helps
fill
our
the box. I
process.
want to use our document.
I want to use our process.
But we can look at their boxes for inspiration.
So the current,
Just thinking things through, that we've thought of that topic.
Right.
so the current emergency preparedness plan was out of date.
Yeah.
And you provided a draft and I provided a draft back in March based on the training. And made a lot of suggestions, like including the 3 levels, including the
And those are
table,
done.
including the incident command structure. And they got incorporated, and that's fine, and we can use that. And then I made a few other suggestions of the more general infection control guidelines, because those were out of date. And having a record of distribution included in the document to guarantee that everybody actually was provided. And if there were any changes, what pages get changed.
Right. And that list would be very short.
I think we could just say it's part of the employee handbook or something like that, as opposed to a separate distribution system.
Well, it's not a problem to keep the distribution list with the document, but it would be doer is notified,
Mhm.
probably the town of Lansing Fire Department, the county sheriff. That's it. 3 people or 3.
And the health department, if it's something like that.
But doer, if the health department might be one, it could be.
We're back to modifying the, let's call it the Ronnie document with Kathleen changes, and now there's Kathleen .2 changes, because you have a couple other things. I think that would be what we work with.
I think, I agree.
So
Can you, and that's easily incorporated into the existing template,
Without having to fill additional boxes.
cut and paste.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And cite it in the appendix of the addendum, because then you don't have to review the whole, update the whole plan. You can just update the section in the appendix.
If you're cutting and pasting from the current plan into boxes for the addendum, and then you attach the emergency preparedness plan at the end, if you change one, you've got to change the other. To me, the model, and I'm thinking back to my process documentation. You say at the very beginning, this is not like the other addendums. Our addendum is our emergency preparedness plan. And it involves using our plan within the addendum. And if you're going to change it, you change it. But to have this copy for us, a copy that's cut and pasted into the addendum, and an appendix, you've got 3 versions of the same document.
No. Okay. Yeah, I'm not making this clear. You can cut and paste the updated emergency preparedness plan with the other additions that are updated. And like I'll give you an example, your recovery. Your recovery section. What is basically cited is the county's adaptation and resilience plan, and there's a link to it. And the county's debris management plan, and there's a link to it.
Do we want a debris management plan in our plan?
Because we don't have a specific one.
We don't have one yet,
Right.
so we can't put it in the plan.
Right. So basically, we could just list those 2, but you would include a short description of what the village what their village's priorities would be for, say, infrastructure restoration.
Wouldn't our,
The top,
What is,
an emergency event the recovery would be exactly the same for every recovery event, except it would not be as pervasive potentially.
well, that would depend on if it's a natural disaster, a technological disaster, emergency,
That's true of all.
or, disease.
Does the county have a recovery plan for every one of those? Have they anticipated every possible event?
104 pages, I'm going through it.
I don't want to do that.
No, we're not going to.
I don't want to.
We're not going to. But level one is something that's not a serious threat. That's your day-to-day stuff. So Mike would be involved in the restoration piece of it. He would be called in by the first responders.
Mike and
John would
DPW.
be the one to respond to, say, water breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or accident, basically clearing debris, clearing roads, that sort of thing. Level two, there's some threat to, health, life, property. It's confined or it's a large population. Okay, but it's still confined in the village. It's the level three activation that this plan primarily addresses, and that's where the local municipalities need to guarantee that they can maintain operations during that period of time. Because this extends beyond the local jurisdiction.
Yes. When it crosses over, we're at the county's beck and call and mercy.
Mhm. So everybody here needs to be really clear, what's the succession plan? If the mayor is not available, or if the mayor and deputy mayor are not available. So we have a written plan, and just, where is that
It's
located?
already in our code.
I'm sorry.
It's already in our village code. In fact, it may be state code.
And also, it's also in your document that you
Here.
created.
Mhm.
So we do have that information.
We have.
And that's gonna be part of it, because we are gonna take your original
And
creation.
then
Work off of that.
it's clear to everyone here where the primary and secondary locations for meeting are, and how to access, and everybody has access to the buildings that would need to respond.
When we declare an emergency, we would determine at that point where we need
Nice.
to meet. But the emergency is in this building.
Yeah. So it's nice to have thought about that in advance.
Room one
And
and two is community.
And tornado just hits this building, so now where are you going?
We may have to meet offline, offsite, and we won't know what's standing until we see it.
But to have thought it through and have
You have a
identified, pardon me?
Do you have a suggestion?
Yeah. It could be the DPW building, it could be the fire station, it could be Dewar.
Problems with that. If a tornado hits, for instance.
It could be
it would
mobile.
affect everybody in this campus, everything, I should say, not everybody. Fire department's gonna have their hands full. They're not gonna have room for us to sit in their conference room and decide things. Doer is the same. So we won't be able to determine where we can meet until the emergency happens. Typical emergencies, we meet here as we are now. If this room's not available, the community room. Beyond that, we have to assess the emergency and how do we meet.
Mhm.
It may be that we've got to do some things by conference calls. People may not be able to travel to this room.
Exactly.
So all of that is a possibility, but we can't sit here in one document and say, for this emergency, we have this sequence of rooms. For this emergency, we have to, in that case, we would have to anticipate every possible emergency.
You can have some basic ideas, like if you don't have internet connection, then what is your alternative? Where are your essential files backed up? And how? So these are all things you can do ahead of time and have done in talking to the staff.
But we don't need a 47-page addendum to tell us this.
But this is something for new board members that come on.
So is this. This is much easier to learn than the attached, a 47-page document.
This isn't 47
But
pages.
the addendum, if you fill all their little boxes, you're gonna have 47 pages of blank space.
But what you actually communicate to people, you can, just like all of our plans, we have a lot of really good plans that sit on the shelf. But what you want to communicate for an emergency plan are the key components. And those key components are your essential personnel and what they're actually responsible for.
They're in here.
The trustees and what they're actually responsible for.
We won't know what the trustees are responsible for.
And
for the emergency.
The location of the backup essential records and plans.
Jody already has all of that.
If that person's not available, everybody else needs to know.
Then all the backup data will have to wait until that person comes back. And that's why we're hiring a deputy clerk, is to have two people. So each one will know.
Well, you would have to know, Carolyn would have to know, or the next person in that succession plan would need to know.
So it seems like these are fairly easy, small things that could just be added into Ronnie's plan and reviewed annually if necessary.
Mhm. The plan actually asks that it be reviewed annually. Review cycle alignment.
And you may want to just keep it, instead of saying organizational meeting, although that's a good time. We usually have 38 resolutions. They want to stagger that and annually and as needed after the initial adoption.
I think if it's not annually, then it gets fallen off and dropped.
I didn't even know about the out-of-date emergency preparedness that was done in what, 2010?
Yep.
I had never seen it, never reviewed it, or I would have caught a lot of the changes then, because there was nothing, the departments that we were contacting don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that if you see this every year, you have new people on board, they see it immediately, everyone else sees it, everyone can ask questions and review it and update it as need be. I think it needs to be annual. We don't necessarily have to do it in the organizational meeting, but that's a good catch-all for any types of plans we have, because it's a definite cycle that we go through every year.
So we had agreed to update and rename the pandemic plan, which is supposed to be reviewed annually because it's an operation, continuity of operation government. So I did do that.
Has it been presented to us?
I can give it to you for your comments.
We need to review it as trustees and approve it. So it needs to go to everyone.
Because right now, that's a plan that says annual review. And to my knowledge, it needs to be reviewed and updated significantly. So that's what I was talking about. So hopefully we can still submit the annex by October to the county.
Yeah, if we can get all of this moved into it and send it to them, yes.
Okay, good.
Any other questions or concerns about this topic? All right. So the next topic is to continue our discussion of post-retirement health insurance. I don't think that we really have much we want to discuss tonight. I'll see if I can rephrase. We're going to ask Natalie to come up with some wording that would help us with planning an annual plan, a review and update if needed of the post-retirement health insurance. And Natalie is going to work on that and get it to us. We won't have a meeting
For a while.
a while about it.
Oh, you
You
do.
always have email.
Yeah.
So
But yes, I will get that to you.
Natalie will be working on that. And thank you, Carolyn, for raising that question and getting the discussion. The one topic I want to add tonight, I was reminded by staff today that we haven't really decided what to do about it yet, the clerk treasurer. We had originally said that we wanted to wait until after July, the July tax and water bill statement cycles for Jody to be cleared. We're now into August, and I wanted to ask you if you thought it would be possible to just say, authorize Jody to publish the job description so that we can start getting applicants.
Absolutely.
We have to use the one that the county gave us, so there's no wording we can change. Our interviews, we can cover our additional points that we want to cover though.
Has the county reviewed and accepted? Well, then we should.
They provided it. They said this is the
Yeah.
one that we have to
Then
use.
Because it's already
Right.
moving forward.
We were just waiting until Jody got kind of cleared her tables
Okay.
and had time. And I think that she probably does now.
I'm totally fine with it, but we don't have to use it. We could draft our own and have our own position created. We're opting to use the county's position because it simplifies it.
It does.
Because there are municipalities like Freeville, for example, that have decided to do their own sets of definitions. And perhaps if this round of hiring doesn't go as we had hoped in terms of the candidates that respond, it might be prudent in the future to then draft something that is more nuanced and specific to the village. But let's go forward with the easier route first.
It's here, what we learn.
If we do our own, it just has to go to the state.
It just has to get approved, which is another step
Right.
but at least 3 or 4 of the small area people around here, villages have done it that way for whatever reason.
Right. It does require a review cycle. The state, and quite frankly, judging by our CSC grant, not really quick about doing much of anything. But I
Then maybe we should submit that now before we need it. If it's gonna be 6 months. All right, well, let's just see how, we can see how this goes.
there's a shredder out there somewhere that things just go into Carolina. So what I will do, if it's okay, is I will draft an email to Jody, and I will copy everyone here that we would ask that she publish the job description and start the process for receiving applications and vetting. And let us know if there's anything she needs from us before that can start. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're initiating the the recruitment process right now. And we can always, depending on the pool of candidates, reopen with something more specific later.
Yeah, if we don't get any good candidates, we do not have to pick anyone. We have to choose someone that's going to be right for the village and
And Jody had mentioned August once she got through
right.
the bulk of stuff.
And we're moving into
to do that.
So
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm just making an action for myself here. Okay, yeah, the cycle and it's I haven't hired within like this an exempt position inside the state, but I have watched the county through Deborah's interactions on the things, and there are times when they just don't find a good candidate, and they come back with a second round, and they tailor some of it, but some of it is just trying to reach a different audience. So it just depends on us. But yeah, if we learn anything from the first one that the job description that we submitted needed more details that should have been vetted out before we interviewed, we can do that. But as Carolyn said, we've got to go to the state to get the approval, make sure we're not adding duties that are not required for that person in other municipalities, and it's statewide. So I don't know how long a process like that would take. I have no idea. Okay. Thank you. I will do that. I will start wording it. When's Jody supposed to be back? Do you
I think next Monday.
next Monday? Okay. The 24th. The next topic then is our general discussion. We'll go around the table. Pat, what have you got tonight?
I have nothing new tonight. I last meeting 4 days ago.
Carolyn?
Yeah, we don't have much to say, just the meetings for the Greenway and the Commercial Area Advisory Committee are upcoming this week. In September, I am the planning board liaison, and I like to attend the meetings in person when I can. So for the 14th, now that I'm able to go to fall training school, I don't know if someone can do a swapsy with me. Do you want to cover the 14th?
Sure.
And then just tell me when your next one is? Okay, thanks. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Carolyn.
And nothing from me.
Kathleen?
I sent you, the Conservation Advisory Council, the town information, on next steps, and just a reminder that Ashley Seyfried, Southern Tier 8, Regional Economic Development is, she's our CSC advisor, and she's on the agenda for October 5th. I did mention this to the town's advisory council members, if they would like to attend. Ed Harvey is the chair of that. And then the core advisory group met this afternoon at 3. And Lisa Barrett presented on the Code Blue sheltering.
What's her last name?
Barrett.
Okay. All right.
With Volunteers for America. She's the director of the center down on Cherry. And she spoke about the Code Blue and the emergency sheltering, how it had gone this year, because this was the first year of operation, and the warming center. And some statistics on the services that they were able to hook people up with. They served about 90 people. There are upcoming challenges. They are working on an agreement with the county. Right now, financially, things look a little rough. So they will still continue for the warming and for the Code Blue next session. It's not, everything's not finalized yet. And there is tentatively an upcoming presentation with both Volunteers for America, the current providers, and DSS to explain a little bit more later on when we have more information. There's the Airport Preparedness Day coming up. That's September 19th. It's a Saturday. And you can register for individual preparedness training. In the past, it's been the National Guard that's done that. You get a free go bag, but you do have to register. It's all free, and you go to the ready.gov site.
What was that date again?
19 September, Saturday.
Kathleen, if we get the website up and running, you're gonna have to learn how to edit it, because you're gonna have a lot of dates of events to put
That's
into our
right.
calendar.
We have Pat.
You're gonna have to learn.
And we have Lorraine and you. Okay. I will have to learn.
You can do it.
And then the county peak, that's planning, energy, environmental quality meeting August 6th. I told you about Kate Riley from the Land Trust. So tomorrow, at the full legislature, will review those three resolutions that were unanimously adopted for the three properties over 200 acres, Caroline, Denby, and Newfield, coming out of the county's Natural Infrastructure Capital Fund. And it does preserve it, and it's a good program. Next, that's pretty much it.
For tonight.
I did send you a link because of I forget what it was. I sent you a link to Senator Gonzalez's infrastructure data tour. She is going to all of the sites across the state, kind of fact finding. And she will be in the town of she will be at Myers Park in the town of Lansing. And I sent you that information. To hear people's concerns and to answer questions about the legislation that the governor also signed an executive order. So basically, the legislation addresses amendments to the energy law, to conservation law, to public service law, public authority law, to provide protections to communities, citizens, to establish some guardrails, to establish some regulations and standards for large energy users, and to look at also public disclosure prior to issuing new permits. So that's pretty much what the legislation is in a nutshell. I think I sent you the link as an FYI.
I don't have anything to add to tonight's discussion, so I will move that we adjourn.
Second.
Susan, seconds. All those in favor say aye. Adjourned at 8:44.